Well, good morning, my fellow friends and family folks that are out there. Glad to have you with me for a little bit of holy hope and humor. Good to have you here. I'm just thrilled, pink, blue, and purple that you're here. Got my fancy shirt on. I'm not even sure what that is. I bought that because I thought it was going to be a shirt that represented what is that superhero's name? Not the Flash, the other guy. But anyhow, I think I got the wrong symbol, but it doesn't matter. I like lightning bolts and stuff like that. Man, I'm glad to see you. How's everybody hanging in there with our coronavirus crisis? The pandemic panic that has struck the world. Oh my, did you guys see my posts that I put up on? You remember yesterday I told you, I said, we're going to begin something, and it's really going to be cool. We're going to call it the Holiday of Light. My family's launched, and I've got some folks online who said that they're going to launch, and they're doing this thing. We're putting up the Christmas lights. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be great. We're celebrating light. You know what I'm saying? It's celebrating hope in a dark world. And when you put light out there, you're automatically saying something about God, because God is light, right? God is love. And God is illumination. Read John chapter 1 and you're going to find that that's the case. Anyhow, so we're decorating our house. If you haven't seen it, boy, pedal backwards. I mean, it's nothing all that fancy because yesterday was just rainy. We had to run in between the raindrops trying to get all of this stuff up. Hoping to do more. Hoping to put up a thing. I decided I'm going to have another sign. It's going to say something like Christ over Corona. Get it? Christ over Corona? Because, you know, the coronavirus, even if it gets you, it doesn't get you because we're Christians, right? We got hope. Oh, I'll tell you, it's a good time to be alive. We got great opportunities in front of us. I'm telling you, folks, we got folks who are scrambling. They're just kind of out of their mind. They're finally searching for God. This is our moment. We can show them the Father. We can show them hope. Help them to raise anchor and not be so invested in this world, but be ready to go. Like my picture. I love my picture that my little wife got me there. Isn't it? Let me get my head out of the way. How did I do that? Yeah, there you go. Can you see it? Isn't it the best? I can't wait for that moment. I'm going to be that person jumping into the arms of God, and I'm just going to hold him for eternity. It's going to be so good. Anyhow, here we are. Holy hope and humor. Holy hope and humor. Okay, where's my spot here? There it is. Okay, now remember we're into, air travel and all that kind of stuff since nobody can do it anymore. I thought we'd just kind of pick on that for a little while. The pilot asked the flight attendant, because you don't call them stewardesses anymore, because I guess that's sexist or something. So flight attendants. Let's be politically correct. Pilot asked the flight attendant, would you please bring me some cotton balls? She asked, well, is the change in our pressure hurting your ears? No, said the pilot. Unfortunately, I'm concerned that the yelling after I tell the passengers that the landing gear won't drop and we have to slide in is what's going to hurt my ears. Can you get me some cotton balls because I'm fixing to have to make a bad announcement? I kind of feel like that pilot. I've been having to deal with some bad stuff lately, the old cotton balls, in your ear, that kind of a thing. But I'm telling you, the Lord is validating some of the messages that have been put out by some of us with regards to we got to get back home. We have allowed the home to be taken over by the government and other things. We got to get back home. But I'll tell you, I'm getting a lot of pushback from that, so I kind of need some cotton balls for my ears, kind of like that pilot. Okay, anyhow, here's our passage for the day, Psalm 119 and 116. That's Psalm 119, verse 116. Psalm's got big chapters and a lot of them. Anyhow, sustain me, my God, according to your promise, and I will live. Do not let my hopes be dashed. I like that. Do not let my hopes be dashed. There are times when it just seems like things fall apart around about us. You ever had somebody who you just really, really respected, spiritually speaking, and then they abandoned you, deserted you, turned their back on you, or maybe they just went back into the world and you're thinking, oh, man, and your hopes were dashed? Well, if we keep our hope in the Lord, it won't be dashed that way, because God's solid, right? God tells us what he wants from us, and if we'll obey that, he's going to bless us and bless us richly. If we don't obey that, you know what he's going to do? He's going to send things like the coronavirus to get our attention. And so the best thing we can do in these moments is lift our eyes towards the heavens, say, God, I'm sorry that I did not focus like I should have on my family. I'm going to do better. And God's going to hold us and he's going to say, okay, we're going to make it through this thing. But I'm telling you, if come August, we're still acting like we did prior to the coronavirus, God's going to have to do something even worse than this to shake us up. And I just don't want to go there, do you? So anyhow, Psalm 119 and verse 116, sustain me. That means hold me, God. Give me the stuff that I need. According to your promise, that is, God says, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Jesus himself said that, didn't he? So he's going to be with us right through this coronavirus thing. And so we need to be individuals who appreciate that. And let me go on. Okay, sustain you, please. Let me I lost my notes. There it is. According to your promise, and I will live, he says. Do not let my hopes be dashed like a ship on the shore, that comes running up on the rocks of the bay or whatever and is dashed. I don't want my hopes to be that way because I'm going to put my hopes in something that's rock solid, and that's Jesus. It's amazing. Man can't figure this thing out. I saw yesterday on Fox News that there was one doctor who says, I'm within 3 weeks of having this thing solved. Well, that's only if God lets you, by the way. But even if that's the case, how many weeks has it been? You see, you just can't trust in man. You got to trust in God. All right, let's move into our last cookie here on the other side. By the way, if you're kind of odded out by or weirded out by this, I'm looking directly. I've got my camera or my thing really closely. I'm looking directly into my own face. That's what I'm seeing here as it shows it on. But if I look up here, you see how my eyes have gone up just a little bit now? Now I'm looking directly into the camera. I can't really see my face, but I can see, evidently I'm looking directly at you. Anyhow, if my eyesight seems a little odd or weird, it's because you're so close. Typically, the camera's back a little bit further, and so you're not able to differentiate between what I'm looking at. But I'm monitoring myself to make sure I don't have something in my nose. I need to be looking up there, I suppose. I'm sorry that I haven't been looking you in the eye. My mom taught me better. She said, when you talk to folks, look them straight in the eye. I'm going to do better. All right, here's your cookie on the tail end. Are you ready for this? All right. The young boy asked his mother after they've been watching television, there was a plane crash and all that. The young boy is asking his mom about the black box. Well, she explains that the black box is basically a recording system. It's a flight recorder, and etc. And the little boy says, well, doesn't it get destroyed when the plane crashes? And the mom says, oh, no, it's made by special alloys and stuff. It's really, really sturdy. It's tough. It doesn't get destroyed, generally speaking. And the boy thought for a moment, and he said, well, Mom, why don't they make the plane out of the same material? I've thought that, haven't you? If we can make that little black box survive, why don't we just use the same stuff to cover the plane? I'm sure there's a scientific reason, but I think I like this kid. It's a good question, you know what I'm saying? All right, here we are. In the midst of the corona crisis, the pandemic pandemonium. But we're doing okay, aren't we? You doing okay? Gabriel and I are about to put something out on Facebook, and I'd like to encourage you to do this. If you're healthy, you're young, you're spry, you're able to get out, all of those kind of things, Gabriel and I go to town almost once a day. And we can run for some folks. And I'm fixing to put out on Facebook that, hey, listen, are you shut in? Are you elderly? And maybe you don't know how to order online. Or maybe you don't trust the delivery system concept. Well, if you live in the Paragould area and you trust me enough, or me and Gabriel enough, we're willing to help out. And we go to town about once a day. If you got some essentials that you need, I'm not interested in going shopping for your clothes and all that kind of stuff because I don't know what size you wear. But if you need milk and eggs and bread and that kind of a thing, Gabriel and I were going anyhow. And no, we're not going to let you pay us for the gas to get there. You pay for your items that we get at the store, and and by the way, we'll go get it, bring it to you, and then you can reimburse us. How does that sound? But if you live in the Paragould area and you just can't nobody seems to be available to help or whatever, call me. I'm there for you. And if you don't live in the Paragould area, which is most of you folks who are watching me, then why don't you make the same offer to some of your loved ones roundabout that you'll run to town for them? Both sets of my parents are older. Both sets, they didn't both give birth to me. One of them gave birth to my wife. But they're mine. They're my parents. And I feel a responsibility towards them. And I told Cindy just this morning, she was talking to her dad, and I said, tell your dad that if he needs something at Walmart, not to go up there, let me go get it. And so, but we can go beyond this, can't we? It's not just our folks. There are other individuals. Some of the elderly folks, they don't have anybody. And sometimes the church isn't even stepping up, and we need to do better. Anyhow, so I'm giving you that challenge. If you're young and able to get out, make that offer to some of the folks around about you who are older and don't need to be getting out, and tell them, yeah, well, I'll run to town for you. This is something we could do. This is a big moment for us as Christians. I'm telling you what, we got a lot to rally around with regards to this kind of stuff. This is a big moment for us. If we'll step up, God will be seen. And if God is seen, that's what it's all about, right? Holy hope and humor. All right, guys, tomorrow at noon. Remember, Sunday's the only day we're not going to do it, and the only reason for that is because I got so many other live broadcasts that I'm doing on Sunday. But every day until this thing is lifted, I intend to be with you here at noon to give you holy hope and humor. And by the way, if you're not doing anything else, put some lights out on the front end of your house and let the folks know that it's the Light of the World holiday. See you tomorrow at noon. Sonny Childs. Be there. Matthew 16:26.